This time, I'd like to welcome to the dais General Manager Ryan Poles.
Over 34 months ago, Ryan Poles was introduced by Bears Chairman George McCaskey as the team's new general manager.
Good afternoon.
He made 7 promises that day. Let's listen to each one by one, and assess how he's done.
We're going to build through the draft. We're going to acquire young, fast, and physical football players.
Well, he really hasn't adhered to that philosophy very well. In fact, in his first draft, he selected a 25-year-old wide receiver and return man who is no longer on the team.
That was as wide open as you could get. Slip, a fall, a throw, a drop.
The Chicago Bears, who have been sellers so far over the past week, are buyers today. They get wide receiver Chase Claypool.
A few months later, in mid-season, he traded a second-round draft pick for a wide receiver who would later be traded.
The Steelers, after 2.5 years, were clearly done with him. That should have been a trigger to the Chicago Bears, as it was to many other teams, that if the Steelers are done with a wide receiver, a seemingly talented wide receiver, maybe you shouldn't go out and try to get him. But they did. And they sent a second-round pick, and it was their second-round pick, and not the second that they got from the Baltimore Ravens in the Roquan Smith trade.
We're going to be selective in free agency, and we're going to connect evaluation with valuation.
Poles failed in his first attempt at free agency. Larry Ogunjobi agreed to a 3-year deal worth $40.5 million. But a few days later, the Bears rescinded the deal due to a failed physical. But most importantly, Poles' valuation assessment has to be seriously questioned when it comes to offensive linemen. Sometimes it's better to overvalue certain position players because of their responsibilities. They are the key to protecting your quarterback, improving the pass and run game.
We're going to have a relentless approach to fix our weakness.
The year before Poles joined the Bears, they were 31st in sacks allowed.
The Browns have 9 sacks.
Currently, they're 32nd in last place. Needless to say, Poles' relentless approach to fixing problems has fixed nothing.
We're going to maintain great self-awareness of who we are.
What? What?
We're going to solve problems with open communication and candor.
One of the Bears' biggest problems has been communication, and the irony of all ironies is that it is the Bears players who have been candid about that miscommunication.
And we're going to consistently put players in position to succeed.
The results after 47 games are not good. You've either hired coaches who failed to put players in position to succeed, or acquired players unable to succeed consistently, or both. And then there's this.
And the last thing, the most important piece, is we're going to take the North and never give it back.
This was clearly the best line in Poles' introductory press conference. The problem is that he didn't deliver it with any conviction, and he hasn't delivered it at all.
Just said you can't take any of it for granted. It's absolutely heartbreaking for the Bears.
When Ryan Poles was hired, I admired the approach of gutting the roster and building a healthy salary cap. But his best player available approach has backfired on him. Kyler Gordon and Jaquan Brisker are excellent defenders. But if you had prioritized building from the inside out, you might have instead drafted offensive and defensive linemen whose return on investment has equaled or surpassed what the 2 DBs have delivered. Poles' future with the Bears is now in doubt. If he is in fact unhappy with reporting to Kevin Warren, he needs to get over it. Convince Kevin Warren that you have the right plan to correct mistakes, and if you can't do that, then you need to go. Aldo Gandia for Buffon 55.